It's Nick, and we're making Maconochie Stew, a historic recipe that was common for British soldiers in the Great War. We're just going to try and make it taste good instead of terrible. We're going to start by melting butter in our Dutch oven to sear the beef in. This is where we start diverging from the historic recipe in step 1. In the recipe, there was no butter involved, just boiled beef, and trust me, this is going to taste better. Add in your stew meat, they're nice trimmed pieces, and then add some flour and salt and pepper as well. We're going to sear it to give a good crust on the outside. The flour and the salt and pepper and the searing weren't in the original, just boiled, unseasoned beef. This is going to taste a lot better. Once the beef is seared on all the sides, we're going to add slices of onions and carrots and give them a bit of a sear as well. Mix it all together to help with the flavor. Again, in the original recipe, everything was just boiled. Once the vegetables are softened, add in potatoes and navy beans and mix that together. Once everything's mixed, pour in beef broth. Add enough beef broth to pretty much cover all of your ingredients. The Tommies, or British soldiers, only had water in their Maconochie stew. Makes for a lot less flavorful stew. Give everything one last stir, and then bring the mixture to a boil. Once everything is boiled, reduce the heat to a simmer and put the lid on. We're going to let it simmer for about 2 hours. You can see that the stew is thickened up nicely after 2 hours and everything's good and tender. We're going to ladle some into a bowl and serve with some nice sturdy bread. When you eat this recipe, spare a thought for the millions of soldiers who fought and died in the Great War. This stew was a common food item for them, and while flavorful and nourishing, it's far from gourmet cuisine, and that's even with our improvements. Imagine eating this in a trench, the stew's cold, and you're eating out of a tin, not a nice bowl. The beef is undercooked, the vegetables are spoiled, and the broth is just water. You're also being shelled. It's worth remembering. Thanks for watching. If you thought this historic recipe was interesting, you can get more information about the recipe and listen to our podcast about food in the Great War at greatwar.reducedbyhalf.info.